the way of beauty, or the beauty way. Let me read to you this lovely card, tarot oracle. I actually will show you the book, that way you can see it. It's Mystical Shaman. The beauty way is both a path that you travel on and a daily practice. The path is where you choose to perceive only beauty before you, behind you, and all around you as you journey through life. Now, as a 5D mystic, here's the spot of where I notice people who read and don't know about attachment, trauma, and about an embodied brain. So they're human stuff. I bring human, spiritual, and spirituality elements together. And that's why I'm the 5D mystic, enlightenment, functional adult, woo-woo, pseudoscience lady, podcast host, solo polyamory. But not because I'm alone. That's the whole part of solo, is not a lone thing. It's that I can be my own safe haven, secure base. I know how to regulate my nervous system. Thank you, Mom. And I know how to go off and, scurry into the world. And, it's not safe. No, there's a bunch of things that could happen right now while I'm recording. Basically, the roof falls on my head. So the not security of the world doesn't make me become what is a misanthropist. I don't hate, dislike, or distrust humankind, nor did I distrust or dislike or hate men, misandronists, because of being lied to them consistently as a teenager, and then, growing up and learning that they continue to lie. Yeah, the empowered woman, again, empowerment means that you're self-aware, self-reflective. That's because you take emotional stuff seriously and you don't project it. So that's also part of the secure attachment person. You're not going to be a functional adult, open-hearted, and your human nature if you don't have the restorative embodiment of you, or simply put, the embodiment of self. And when you have really, really great self-aware embodiment, I'm going to read to you what this is. That way you can understand. Yeah, you pretty much know my compass has always been spot on. Thanks, Mom, because my 0-1-year-old attached, panicky, and my 3 to 7 shame submissive was not submitting to anyone. My home was not frightening to my highly sensitive body and differentiated self. And I did get spanked every now and then. In one case, as a 3-year-old, I did tell my mother, you can't spank me. It's my body. And she spanked me. And then when she was done, I went to make my suitcase because she disobeyed a very direct command from this body. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, Mindset Institute founder. He's Dr. Daniel Siegel. I'm learning so much from him, interpersonal neurobiology. Right now I began a new course, Consciousness and Change, and I'm going to share one of the things I just learned from it. And also there's lifespan attachment, that one I'm finishing up, and disorganized attachment and dissociative identity disorder. So those are 4 courses, not the exact titles. They're all really great. And here's why, people don't understand. No devil, no demon in the body of anyone. And actually, let me bring on in Patrick McNamara, neuroscientist, who has more than just one interview on the Well or Big Think about how the brain works and the fear receptor. So the 4D mystics continue to talk about their, meat eaters, conspiracies, and a whole load of other things. And the solar eclipse is coming, and the 5D mystics are not doing any of that. We are actually allowing ourselves to know, if you're an empowered human being, it's because you have great restorative embodiment, meaning you did not lose touch with your gooey, ooey, ooey 3-year-old heart. Thank you, Jesus. I have to thank also Jesus. Oh, besides my mother, my twin, my younger sister, my entire household. But my consistent secure attachment figure is where I got to exchange this differentiated self. So that's important. And my twin also, because she was next to me, same age group, so we're peers. And nervous systems communicate to each other. And so here's where I did get lucky, because you know what it takes to have our ventral vagal nervous system online and to feel safe with other humans? This intimacy with this. Since the twin is the same age of me, if we hugged as kids, again, that's the part of where it's safe for me to be around humans. Unfortunately, there are others who don't have that luck. So they have poor embodiment, self, no awareness. In fact, they don't know that they confuse good and bad emotions. And as our lovely Patrick Tiahan, childhood trauma survivor, healed and healing, and he's a therapist, as he shares, it's not that you have a little bell for the toxic, abusive relationships, is that you didn't have a home where you got taught. But see, here's where there's the nervous system involved too. So when you learn about avoidant attachment, ambivalent, and disorganized, and you understand that the way the nervous system learns to handle relationships and stress. That's why trauma is relational. Intimacy is the core. The first intimacy is with you. If If you don't have your own inner child, which means if you don't have self-reflective capacity, so let me be self-aware. Oh, I got an emotion. Let me not project. Let me self-reflect. Did I respond? Did I react? And what is this emotion saying? Am I suppressing emotions through fucking drugging, drinking? Am I in a pattern, or should I look at a movie and call it cool? Thank goodness we're in 2024. Okay, so here's where the path to perceive only beauty, you first need to have in here gooey, ooey, ooey. So before you can move anywhere, because your implicit memory, like mine, those first 3 years of your life, it's all implicit memory. And in fact, I have notes from one of my courses, implicit memory keeps the score. This is your body. Your mind, the left mode, translates it. But see, it's by the age of 2 that you begin to get told words. So by the age of 2, I'm pretty sure none of people are actually creating their own ideas. I know I used words in book when I was, 12, 13 or something. And I'm like, yeah, these are not my words. These are grown-up words that I'm using, but they're not Maria's words. And FYI, the self is not a fixed noun when you learn from people like Daniel and the good attachment trauma information people, which is why the individuals who don't understand how it is to be human, they don't talk about us in this beautiful way. So a lot of them, they will potentially try to do all this stuff. And, we got spiritual bypassers, but we're going to leave the 4D to the side and the 3D because they are not looking to expand their consciousness. If they did, then they'd become self-reflective. They'd be like, you know what? I don't want to use my tone that way. I don't want to use my emotions this way. I want to be a member of my herd, which is the human being herd. I don't want to be a person who's a misogynist, hatred of women, or sexist, and misandrist, or however that goes, or misogynist, a person who hates, avoids, or opposes marriage. So when I see the gender stereotypes, all the people, and as a woman, the ones who actually go around thinking they're empowered, which is why I'm sharing a voice of what true empowerment is. True empowerment means that I'm more open-hearted, not less. I'm not bitter. I'm going to be, okay, understanding. And then I can talk about things. I'm not going to justify. I'm going to actually use information. That's why I'm educated and educate also the pseudoscience, because I'm not in the research lab, but I know where I'm getting my information. And it's all people who are in research, academia. They're reliable sources, not some agent of somewhere or some ex-employee of somewhere who's making some random, basically with their own implicit bias, cultural bias, all of it bias, because they're tainting it full of whatever it is they think is going on versus let's have a conversation. So, when you have a conversation, because it's like, let's explore this. That's because we're curious, open, accepting, and loving. That's the person who's present, which is all the 5D. 5D collective like to use their brain. And that's because they like to be self-reflective and reflect overall, and then to bring forth proactivity because we want to bring beauty out into the world. So let's read the second. The practice is where you take action to bring beauty to every situation you are in. When things get ugly, you act to bring integrity and peace to the difficult encounter. When everyone else perceives only darkness, you point out the light and help uncover the hidden treasures. Here's another way the 4D keeps thinking somebody's going to be more special than not. They use the word light and darkness, and I love Sadhguru, but spirituality doesn't explain to you. So here's the human stuff. Light and darkness, we can only have white from the color dark. If anybody took anything with colors, 2, the infinite universe will go into a darkness, dark matter, dark energy, and light, we're all light. So the reality is only if you have a relationship with your body and your mind. So here's your divine feminine and here's your divine masculine, but the mind thinks. So the masculine is what I call the left mode of your brain, the chit chatter, and then you got the right, which is the feminine. And that's when all the emotions come up. So if you don't know that magic works through you and your inner child is beautiful, and you don't have the freedom to have fun and build a snowman with all people, well, you don't know how to be a restorative embodied self, which is when you're able to be present in the moment without the need for explanation or judgment, and you're filled with feelings like awe, grace, connection, peace, beauty, love, and oneness. And the restorative embodiment focuses on the body as a resource to support and reinforce the internal sense of self-agency and resiliency. There's also a great example of embodied self-awareness. Let's see if I have time. Laura has a lot of embodied self-awareness. When she's holding back anger, she senses heat in her ears and a set jaw. Tuning into the sensation reminds her to breathe and calm down before responding to a difficult situation. So there's plenty of more. We'll be actually doing another 2 but love is the constant when you're aware of yourself and others with love and kindness.